As the drone's camera hovered above the endless expanse of the ocean, it accidentally stumbled upon a chilling sight. Two people, their faces etched with exhaustion and desperation, clung to the remnants of a missing plane that had vanished without a trace 12 days ago. The drone operator frantically dialed the Coast Guard, praying they could reach the stranded souls before it was too late. But what the Coast Guard said next was something that he didn't expect. Before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. Jason was left speechless. He stood there, still holding his phone to his ear, listening to the beep that told him the Coast Guard had ended the call. What? He couldn't believe this. This had to be an error. He was determined to get help, and he decided to try again. He dialed the same number as he had just minutes before and waited for someone to answer his call. Surely they would pick up the phone, right? Jason was relieved when he heard the click, meaning that someone picked up, and he was just about to tell them the whole story again when he was interrupted. "Sir, please stop calling this number. I've already told you that we cannot help you. We have no record of a missing boat in that area. I am going to hang up now and do not call us again." Jason couldn't believe what he was hearing, and before he even got the chance to argue, he heard the beeping sound again. They hung up on him. He simply could not believe what was happening. There were two human living beings stuck out there in the middle of the sea, and the Coast Guard did not want to help them. That was impossible. Jason scoffed, and he thought to himself, "I don't care what that woman said. I'm going to call them again." So that's what he did. However, this time nobody picked up. He dialed the number a couple of more times, but in the end, it even stopped going through. They must have blocked his number. Jason decided that this was unacceptable, and if the Coast Guard would not help those people, he would do it himself. There was just one question: how? He checked the drone footage again just to make sure that he was not mistaken. And sure enough, those people were still there. Jason circled his drone around them to get their attention and to let them know that help was on its way. As soon as they noticed the drone above them, they started yelling and waving their hands. At this moment, Jason regretted not buying the more expensive drone with a microphone and speaker. That way, he could have spoken to the two castaways. However, it was no use thinking of that now. He needed to deal with the situation as it was, and he realized that he needed to hurry. He didn't know how much time they had left. He quickly flew his drone back to the coast where he was standing, and he packed it into its case. He needed to find a boat, and preferably someone who could handle one. He remembered that there was a cafe at about 10 minutes walking distance from where he was now, and he thought that would be a good place to start his search. He walked over there very quickly, almost running, and when he arrived, he was out of breath. The owner, Melissa, recognized him as he had been there a couple of times before and asked if he wanted a drink. Jason, still panting, told her, "No, but I could use your help with something." Melissa gave him a glass of water on the house and waited for him to catch his breath. Jason told her about what he had seen on the drone footage and explained that he needed a boat to find those people and help them. When he was done talking, she just stared at him in silence for a few seconds, and then she nodded. "Okay, I see. Well, I don't have a boat, but I think my brother could help you out with that." "Mike!" she yelled over her shoulder. Seconds later, Mike appeared on the doorstep of the kitchen. "You remember Jason, right? Could you help him find a boat?" Melissa said. Once again, Jason explained his plan, and Mike was immediately on board. "All right, man, let's do this." Jason was happy to have found a companion who wanted to join him on this mission. And then they were on their way. "So you called the Coast Guard, but they just hung up on you twice?" Mike asked. Jason had told him everything in detail, and he also found it very strange. "Well, do you have any idea who those people are or where they came from? There has to be a reason why the Coast Guard wouldn't help them, right?" Jason fell quiet for a moment. "Honestly, I haven't actually thought about that." He had been so focused on helping those people that he did not stop for a moment to think about the situation. And he began to wonder, repeating Mike's questions in his mind. He realized that there was really only one way to find the answers. They needed to get out there and save those people. But first, they needed a boat. Luckily, Mike knew a guy who knew a guy. And an hour later, they were finally ready to go out on the water. Jason had never driven a boat before, but before he had any time to worry about that, Mike had taken the wheel. Jason unpacked his drone again and sent it ahead of them, hoping to locate the two missing people. It would be much easier to find them that way, yet no matter how far he flew it across the open water, there was still no sign of them. They sped across the sea with rising urgency. Jason continued sweeping the ocean with the drone, but the empty horizon offered no hope. With trembling focus, he lowered the drone, zooming in until the image sharpened into two figures floating in the water. "There!" he shouted, hope surging through him. Mike quickly adjusted course, steering directly toward them. The ocean grew rougher as they sped forward, waves slamming the hull and wind stinging their faces. As Jonas, now fully alert, guided the drone closer, one of the castaways suddenly waved, confirming they were alive and aware of the approaching rescue. Through the spray and mist, the two figures finally became clearly visible. Mike maneuvered the boat carefully alongside them as the waves crashed against the sides. Jason leaned over, extending his arms. Together, they pulled the stranded pair aboard, their bodies limp, drained, but finally safe. Jason immediately offered a water bottle, and the castaways took slow, cautious sips, savoring each drop as it soothed their parched throats. Reaching into the storage compartment, Jason retrieved dry clothes and blankets, offering them warmth and comfort after the relentless cold of the ocean. Though exhausted, one managed a trembling, "Thank you," barely above a whisper. The other simply nodded, eyes shining with emotion. Wrapped in blankets and surrounded by the steady vibration of the boat's engine, they finally closed their eyes, drifting into a deep, much-needed sleep safe at last, their ordeal over. As the distant shore came into view, Jonas leaned back, letting the weight of the day settle. The shoreline grew clearer, trees, buildings, and the shimmer of car windows forming recognizable shapes. A sudden beep in Jonas's pocket signaled a returning cell signal. He immediately called the authorities, informing them that the rescue had been successful and that they were approaching the dock. Looking for clues, Jonas checked a small bag left behind by the rescued pair. Inside were a few personal items, but nothing that revealed who they were. Their identities remained a mystery, hinting that their ordeal might hold a deeper story. Flashing blue and red lights illuminated the dock. Jonas frowned, exchanging a puzzled look with Mike as the boat slowed. The atmosphere shifted instantly. Before they could ask questions, police officers rushed in and swiftly helped the weakened couple off the boat, escorting them straight toward an ambulance. "You two found them?" he asked. Mike nodded cautiously, unsure why the tone had changed. The officer informed them that a full account was required. There was more to the situation than they knew. Instead of being thanked and dismissed, they were ordered to accompany the police. The realization struck hard as they were guided into the back seat. Inside, the atmosphere was thick with unanswered questions. Jonas sat on an uncomfortable bench, searching his memory for anything that could explain the authorities' intense focus. He wondered why the rescued pair had been whisked away so urgently and what made their situation so important. Every muffled conversation around them added another layer of mystery. The interrogation room was stark and cold. Jonas took his seat as an officer entered, placing a file on the table and requesting a full recount of the events. Jonas described everything: the drone sighting, the journey, the harsh waters, and the relief of finding the pair alive. Meanwhile, in a separate room, Mike faced similar pressure. Officers questioned how they discovered the couple and whether they had received a tip. Mike firmly denied it, repeating that they had simply stumbled upon the scene. Feeling cornered, Jonas made a desperate plea, insisting their intentions had been pure. But the tension in the room remained unbroken, and the mystery surrounding the stranded couple only grew heavier. The interrogation ended, leaving Jonas more confused than before. Hours passed slowly, and the uncertainty made him feel as if he had been pulled into a much larger mystery. Moments later, another officer entered, this one calmer, more approachable. He greeted Jonas with a handshake that eased some of the tension. The officer sat across from him, ready with a notepad. "Let's go over everything again," he suggested, asking Jonas to think beyond the rescue itself. The shift in tone caught Jonas off guard, and he searched his memory for anything unusual. As he spoke, the officer listened carefully, noting details and asking pointed questions. Then the officer revealed a piece of information that changed everything. The police had been searching for fugitives who had escaped without a trace. They suspected the pair might have attempted to flee by sea. Jonas felt a jolt of realization. Could the couple they rescued be the fugitives? The officer confirmed the suspicion by sliding two photographs across the table. They showed the same man and woman Jonas had helped pull from the water, but with names, criminal charges, and records attached. They weren't just castaways, they were convicted criminals who had broken out of custody. Jonas stared at the photos, trying to reconcile the desperate faces he remembered with the fugitives now revealed. Confusion and disbelief washed over him. He had assumed they were victims of a boating accident, not people running from the law. "We only wanted to help," he said quietly, still trying to process the revelation. The officer explained that the fugitives had attempted to fake a boat accident to escape, but the weather turned against them. The Coast Guard had been cautious, looking for the pair without alarming them. Jonas and Mike's rescue had unintentionally brought the man and woman into custody, helping end the search. The officer commended Jonas, assuring him that their actions had helped the community. The atmosphere in the station shifted. Officers offered warm smiles and nods of appreciation. What had begun as a tense and confusing ordeal gradually became a moment of acknowledgement and relief. Later, the familiar bell of the cafe chimed as Jonas and Mike walked in. Their presence immediately drew attention, quiet murmurs floating through the room. From a corner table, Melissa stood up quickly, her face filled with relief. "You're finally back," she said, rushing toward them. The cozy atmosphere and familiar warmth helped ease the tension of the day. With steaming mugs in hand, Jonas and Mike recounted everything from spotting the pair with the drone to the shocking turn at the police station. Melissa listened intently, reacting to each twist in the story. Jonas reflected on how quickly life could shift. Mike added that the experience had shown how deceptive appearances could be. Melissa leaned in, noting that their simple act of helping had played a part in capturing fugitives. The three of them sat together, absorbing the unpredictability of the day and the unexpected consequences of one decision to help strangers in need.